I've spent 5 years trying to convince myself that what I heard on that radio was just static, that the voices screaming through my speakers were just interference, that the 37 people who disappeared from Beaverton Tunnel that night simply got lost in some freak accident. But I know what I heard, and now that my silence contract with the Department of Energy has expired, I can finally tell someone, anyone, even if no one believes me. September 2019. I was working nights as a sound engineer at WXVR, a small radio station in northern Colorado, the kind of place that plays automated classic rock playlists while the entire staff sleeps, except for me, the overnight technician making sure nothing went off air between midnight and 6 a.m. The station was housed in an old, repurposed fire tower from the 1950s, concrete walls 3 feet thick, built to withstand Cold War bombs, perfect for radio transmission, terrible for cell reception. It was 2:17 a.m. when our broadcast signal first started breaking up. I checked the equipment. Everything looked normal, but then the interruptions became more frequent, static giving way to voices. At first, so distorted, I thought it was just atmospheric interference, until I heard the screaming. Not just one voice, dozens, and beneath it all, a rhythmic clicking sound that made my skin crawl. I tried to call my supervisor, but the landlines were dead. My cell showed no service, unusual even for our remote location. The emergency satellite phone just emitted a high-pitched tone when I tried it. That's when the station's security system activated automatically. Heavy steel shutters slammed down over the windows and doors. The emergency lights kicked on, bathing everything in dull red, and a recorded message played through the PA system. Attention, signal containment protocol initiated. External communications suspended. Remain in your designated area until containment teams arrive. Do not attempt to leave the building. I'd worked there for 3 years and never even knew we had a signal containment protocol. The voice on our broadcast frequency was becoming clearer. A woman, terrified, describing something emerging from the walls of Beaverton Tunnel, the 2-mile mountain passage that connected our valley to the interstate. They're coming through the concrete, she was saying, like it's not even there. Tall. God, they're so tall. Like birds, but wrong, all wrong. Their mouths. Then more screaming. I frantically worked the equipment trying to cut the transmission, but nothing responded. Instead, the broadcast console displayed a frequency I'd never seen before, 87.1 megahertz. We broadcast at 94.7. This wasn't our signal, but it was coming through our equipment. More voices joined in, a man describing the tunnel's ventilation system failing, the air becoming thick with some kind of mist. Another person begging someone named Carter to stay in the car no matter what. Then I heard the authorities, Highway Patrol, then someone identifying themselves as Department of Energy Emergency Response, ordering everyone to remain in their vehicles, that chemical trucks had overturned, that breathing the air could be fatal. But one voice, lower, speaking to someone else, these aren't chemical trucks. What the hell are those things? The broadcasts continued through the night. I recorded everything, listening as the situation in Beaverton Tunnel deteriorated. The authorities had sealed both ends, trapping everyone inside. They sprayed the vehicles with some kind of chemical agent, then covered everything with massive industrial-grade plastic sheeting. People were told it was for their protection, to stay in their vehicles, that help was coming. But I could hear what was happening. The plastic sheeting rustling, the clicking sounds getting louder, the screams as something moved among the trapped vehicles. One man described them. They walk on two legs, but they're not human. 8, maybe 9 feet tall, thin, like they're stretched. Their faces are, Jesus Christ, their faces are just teeth. Through the broadcast, I could hear the sounds of metal tearing, glass breaking, people trying to escape their cars only to encounter something worse outside. The Department of Energy responders were shouting orders, trying to maintain control. Someone fired shots, and then more. At 6:07 a.m., the steel shutters retracted. 2 men in hazmat suits were waiting outside the station. They identified themselves as Department of Energy officials and said there had been a radiation leak from a classified transportation operation, that I had been exposed to hallucinogenic compounds through the ventilation system. They showed me news reports about a chemical spill in Beaverton Tunnel. 37 people hospitalized for exposure, all recovered according to official statements. But I had the recordings. When I mentioned them, their demeanor changed. They offered me $175,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I refused. They mentioned my mother's nursing home, my costs, my sister's college tuition. They knew everything about me. I signed. They took all our equipment, installed new broadcasting systems within days. No one at the station mentioned it again. Those who asked questions didn't last long. For 5 years, I've kept quiet, watched the official story of a chemical spill become accepted history, watched them rebuild sections of Beaverton Tunnel with new, thicker walls, watched the Department of Energy construct a research facility directly above it. I looked for the names of those 37 people who supposedly recovered, found nothing. No hospital records, no interviews, nothing. But I kept one thing they didn't find: a backup digital recorder I'd hidden when they first came in. 15 hours of what really happened in Beaverton Tunnel. Last week, I was diagnosed with aggressive lymphoma, terminal. The doctors can't explain it. But I worked in a concrete bunker that night, surrounded by 3-foot-thick walls. Whatever came through those car radios in Beaverton Tunnel, whatever frequency they were broadcasting on, it came through my equipment too. I don't have much time left, but I'm uploading the recording now to servers around the world. When you hear it, you'll understand. That clicking sound wasn't communication. It was feeding. They're still in there, behind the new concrete walls, and they're getting stronger. The frequency is how they reach out, how they call to each other. The Department of Energy isn't containing them. They're studying them, using them. And if you're hearing this, they're already broadcasting again. Check your radio, 87.1 FM. They're listening. This story is a bit of a wild one with some unexplained elements. What do you think? Any truth to the story or just some made-up madness? Drop a comment with your thoughts and tap the like or subscribe buttons if you want to stay up on my latest content. Have a frightfully fun day.